oh really, in my previous ashram, my father was Jagannath Vishnu and my mother was Ch.Ch. Madhya. And then it also turned out that, thank you, Didi, that Mahaprabhu's brother, Shankar, who became Shankararanya after he took sannyas, he was with Rangapuri also in South India, and he'd left his body in that very place where Mahaprabhu was, Pandara something, Pandarapur, in that very place. So very like intense meeting, right, that they had. And so they spend time together, and then Mahaprabhu continues on his travels. And does anyone remember which book he came across then? I think only Ch.Ch. Didi was here that time.
Krishna Karnamrita. Yeah,
Krishna Karnamrita, yes. And the other book that he found in South India, Brahma Samhita. Yeah. So now Krishna Karnamrita.
Who wrote that one? Krishna Karnamrita.
Bilva Mangal Thakur. Yeah. He was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. Okay, so continue. Tobe Mahaprabhu aila Krishna venva tire nana tirtha dekitaha devata mandire. Mahaprabhu next went to the bank of the Krishna Venva river, where he visited many holy places and the temples of various gods. Brahman Samajsa Vaishnav Chadit Vaishnav Sakalpade Krishna Karnamrita. The Brahmin community there was composed of pure devotees. They regularly studied a book entitled Krishna Karnamrita, which was composed by Bilva Mangal Thakur. Krishna Karnamrita Shuni Prabhurananda Hoilo Agraha Kodiya Putti Lekaya Loilo. Mahaprabhu was very pleased to hear the book Krishna Karnamrita, and with great eagerness he had it copied and took it with him. Karnamrita samavastu nahi tribhuvane jaha hoite hoy Krishne shuddha prema jnane. There is no comparison to the Krishna Karnamrita within the three worlds. By studying this book, one is elevated to the knowledge of pure devotional service to Krishna. But we don't read that book. Even though it's telling us here how we should read it. When we reach that adhikar, then we can read it. What were you going to say, Didi?
No, I didn't know what you were saying. We don't read it, you said?
I said we don't read that, because it's saying here, there's no comparison to this book. If you study this book, you'll be elevated to the knowledge of pure devotional service. But I'm saying, nevertheless, we don't read it. Mm-hmm. We don't have the adhikar. In some, we will not be atheistic, as Srila Sridhar said. We will not think that that day won't come when we won't be able to read it. But the day will come, but not right now. And as we mentioned yesterday, Gurudev didn't feel qualified to read that book. And he said, I have not read it actually, but Guru Maharaj gave me the service of proofreading the Sanskrit, so I memorized it. But I haven't read it. And Gurudev would quote verses from there sometimes. But he never read it. So in other words, we can say, if there's some service necessity, then we will go through it. Gurudev he really set a high example. Because he mentioned about other books like Ujjvala Nilamani, and he said, I'm the acharya, I should read these books, it's like I should, but I'm not, I'm so careful. So that, I mean, we can understand Gurudev did that to set some kind of example, then some other like new guy who just like has been practicing for 5 years. Oh yeah, it's time for me to study these books now. Like, come on, like, be real here. There's one very I prepared an article out of it. Maybe some of you saw it. It was published on the Gaudiya Darshan, Jai Ma Kali. It was from it was in Italy in, what year was it? 2000, when Srila Gurudev went to Mantabaro. And someone was asking Gurudev it was Lalita Saptami, the appearance day of Lalita Devi. And someone asked Gurudev to say something, about Lalita Devi. And he said something, and then he was saying, but we are, in this atmosphere, it's not really appropriate to speak so much about these higher things. And then he was saying, he would say, no doubt Saraswati Didi also heard, he would say sometimes, Jai Ma Kali. He was saying, like, we will, in the name of, devotion, we will go to illusion, We have to be, very careful. I liked that story that Bharatumar shared last night when some devotee was telling Gurudev about his experience of Vrindavan. Gurudev turned to the television. Like, it's classic, Your whole mental experience of what Vrindavan was, that's equal to watching the television. In Affectionate Guidance, there's one place where Gurudev mentions one of my friends. They were very excited about living in Vrindavan. There's some Bengali Vaishnav. They're from Bengal. They're living in Bengal, and they were excited about the idea of living in Vrindavan. And so now they've moved to Vrindavan, but they're doing exactly the same thing that they were doing in Bengal. He's raising his family. He bought a cow, and he said, I think his idea of Vrindavan is very limited. He has a very limited conception of what Vrindavan means. And really the proper approach is that these things, they all have meaning to our Guru Varga. And we are remembering them and serving them and thinking of their appreciation for these things. And then we may have some real connection. Like Gurudev mentioned, when I go to Vrindavan, I'm not thinking about Radha Krishna Leela, but I'm thinking, about Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, what appreciation what pastimes he had, like our Guru Varga, how this was something meaningful to them, where Guru Maharaj took him and what Guru Maharaj told him, these things, those things are meaningful to me. But to jump to some, it's just like some mental thing. It's living in the mental world.
Sometimes I think Gurudev said it's eye exercise.
Yes. Yeah.
When we go to these holy places, especially Vrindavan.
Yeah. There's this very nice article that was published by Srila Prabhu, whose disappearance day was yesterday. I forgot because I'm so spaced out right now. Have you seen God? This article, and he mentions there, I want the Krishna. I don't want marketplace Krishna. I don't want cheap Krishna, but I want the Krishna who is living in the heart of my Guru Maharaj. I want that Krishna. I want the real thing. And it doesn't matter if I have to wait millions of lifetimes to get that. It does not matter, but I want the real thing. I want the genuine thing, not some cheap imitation.
Where is this article?
I can give it to you. It was published in one of the Vaishnava Toshinis. I made a little excerpt PDF. Yeah, I can send it to you. I'm sure I've been through it. Sometimes I go through it in classes. I probably went through it here once some years ago. Really wonderful. Very, very strong, you know. We don't want to delude ourselves. Okay. So we'll continue. And also on this occasion in Italy, Gurudev was mentioning his disappointment how, we won't mention names, but other institutions, he said, like random, they're translating and they're publishing everything nowadays, like all of these high books, like they're making a massacre. You know? And he mentioned how Jaiva Dharma, I haven't been through Jaiva Dharma, but as I've heard, and Gurudev mentioned there, it's like it can be divided into two parts, and the first part, the first half is like for our level, like for sadhakas, and the second part is going more into rasa and, you know, higher topics. And Srila Bhakti Thakur, he published it as one book, as I understand. But there was one of Srila Saraswati Thakur's prominent sannyas disciples in later years. He published it, and thinking of, you know, Srila Saraswati Thakur's mood, he published it in two separate parts. You know, with the idea that the first part was appropriate for everyone, and the second half of the book, it was for, you know, a much smaller group. So Gurudev appreciated that, you know, that he had that discrimination. And but then, as I recall, he was commenting now, like this other mission, they've published this as one book. Like, you know, what are they doing? And he also said that that sannyasi, who was a disciple of Saraswati Thakur, he wasn't the most qualified person. Like he didn't have the highest adhikar. He was like had a lower understanding. But even he could understand not to publish this, you know. Right? And he said his name as well. Like, even he could understand. You know. But now they're publishing everything, you know.
I asked a question to Gurudev, if we, you know, because everybody, it was there, Jaiva Dharma, it was, you know, we could read it, and I asked Gurudev, I said, isn't this very high, the pastimes of reason? And he said, well, it's the beginning, and if we read it with honor and humility, we have no
Okay, we'll continue. Sandarja Madhurja Krishna Lila Ravadi Sejana Je Karnamrita Podeni Ravadi. One who constantly reads the Krishna Karnamrita can fully understand the beauty and melodious taste of the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Brahma Samhita Karnamrita Dui Punti Paya Maharatna Prai Pai Aila Sangeloya. The Brahma Samhita and Krishna Karnamrita were two books that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered to be most valuable jewels. Therefore he took them with him on his return trip. So this Brahma Samhita and Krishna Karnamrita, they're both highlighting, Krishna Leela, and this aprakrita Leela of Krishna as the highest. So they're like supporting his what Mahaprabhu was trying to establish. This is the highest conception of divinity, and Krishna Karnamrita, as we just said, it is not for us, but Brahma Samhita, as we know, Gurudev emphasized so much, that book is so helpful. It gives us great perspective. It gives the whole overview of the material environment and the spiritual environment. So it's very, very helpful.
But we are not reading it so often, right? I mean, it's not so that...
No, it's a book that we should read. I mean...
We should introduce it.
In the classes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Because we're following like the Navadvip style, or Chaitanya Charitamrita and we also have so many books of Gurudev and Srila Sridhar Maharaj. I mean, I see it as a book that we can try to read in our own time.
Because Gurudev always mentioned it, right?
He did, yeah.
Read Brahma Samhita.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can go through it.
Because it's also a bit difficult,
it's a bit heavy going also. I mean, I see it as something more appropriate for reading in your own time. I mean, it depends. I mean, if you want to go through, for going through all the purports, I mean, I wouldn't really feel comfortable going through it in a class, because I don't know if I could sustain everyone's attention, to be honest.
Because I remember Gurudev said it so often, right?
He did, yeah. He did. Brahma Samhita, also Prapana Jivanamrita.
Yeah.
And Bhagavad Gita. And Chaitanya. I mean, those were like the 4 books Gurudev said he put the most emphasis. Prapana Jivanamrita, Brahma Samhita, Bhagavad Gita, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Like, these are the main books that we read. And of course the books of Srila Sridhar Maharaj and Gurudev's books. So yeah. I think that might be something Yasi Maharaj would really like to do, right? Maybe when he comes next time we can ask him. Especially because, I mean, realistically in the temple, everyone's so busy they don't really have time to read, which is very healthy, except in the class. I mean, that's appropriate. That was Srila Sridhar Maharaj's standard, that you don't read except in the class when you hear. He was strict about that. So maybe it's good if we go through it. Okay. Tapi snan kori aila mahishmati pore nana tirtha deki taha narmadar tire. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next arrived at the banks of the river Tapi. After bathing there, he went to Mahishmatipur. While there, he saw many holy places on the banks of the river Narmada. And this is okay. Danus tirtha deki korila nirvindyate snane vishamukha giriyaila danda karanye. The Lord next arrived at Danus Tirtha, where he took his bath in the river near Vindhya. He then arrived at Rishyamukh mountain and then went to Dandakaranya. Saptatal vriksha deke kanan bitar ati virda ati stul ati uchatar. Within the Dandakaranya forest, Mahaprabhu then visited a place called Saptatal. The 7 palm trees there were very old, very bulky, and very high. Saptatal deki Prabhu alingan koilo, shasharire Saptatal vaikunte cholilo. Upon seeing the 7 palm trees, Mahaprabhu embraced them. As a result, they all returned to Vaikuntha Lok, the spiritual world. Srila Gurudev, one instruction he told to Trivikram Maharaj, every day he should embrace these trees. And they have these very special trees. In Brazil. I don't remember I can never remember the name of them, a little tricky name. but they I think they also grow in Australia. And they have these branches, the male ones at least. I think the female ones are more straight, but the male ones, their branches, they go up like this. You see them there on the land. And Gurudev said they were sadhus in meditation. And he told Trivika Maharaj to embrace them every day. And Trivika Maharaj, he seemed to think it was for his benefit, for his own purification. But I see the opposite. Like to maybe some impersonalist type, situation. Because we hear that, right? When these impersonalists come from the Brahma Jyoti, and they have to enter this type of life forms, like rocks, trees. It's like a type of curse, mountains.
Yeah.
It's a type of curse. The tree birth is so miserable. Gurudev said in the Manu Samhita, Manu, he's describing all the different parts of the creation, different species of life, and when he comes to describe the trees, he's crying because it's so sad. Because it's said that their consciousness is very close to humans, but they're in that situation. They have that type of developed consciousness, but they're stuck in this awful situation. And so we saw Gurudev was always very careful about trees. He would not cut a tree down.
Trees are so amazing. It's such an amazing entity, right? So beautiful. If you go, I always think when you go visit a foreign city or so, and then the architecture is so amazing. But when you see a tree, yeah, that's beautiful, right? That's really beautiful. And it's somewhere there's some glorification of what the tree actually all tolerates and does, somewhere in the scriptures. You remember something like that? What a glorious beneficiary gift they give to the world, something like that.
Oh, it's in Bhagavatam when Krishna he's entering the Vrindavan forest. Very beautiful glorification.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now that we're speaking about trees, comes to my mind the Benedictine tree of divine love. He's referring to Mahaprabhu.
It's a poem by Srila Bhakti Thakur. We sold it in Navadvip. What was it called? Kalyan Kalpaturu.
Yes.
And a wish-fulfilling tree, Kalpaturu. And he has, Srila Bhakti Thakur has a poem where he's saying that I've brought this tree, this Kalpaturu, is from, Kalyan, right? The word Kalyan means auspiciousness or goodness. So Kalyan Kalpaturu, this, they've put Benedictine in that translation, this giving some benediction, this wish-fulfilling tree. So Srila Bhakti Thakur, he wrote, this is some collection, right? But there's one poem in particular where he says, I've brought this tree down, from Goloka or like that, but now it's here, it needs to be taken care of, you take care of this tree. Something like that, through your, devotional life practices like that, your service.
And also Tulasi is a tree.
Tulasi is a tree. There's also the tree of Krishna Prema, right?
So
there are many divine trees.
The carpet, the tree that Bhakti Thakur brought down, From Vaikuntha Loka?
From, I would think Goloka, but...
Yeah. So it stands for the teachings of Mahaprabhu?
I mean, I would like to look at, I'm not so familiar. Yeah, I'd have to look at it, but I would think something like that, the gift of Mahaprabhu, wish-fulfilling tree that can fulfill our aspirations for divine love, something like that. Gurudev, he refers to it, and I think it's one of the introductions to sermons 1 or 2, I think. We can check, and it must be published somewhere, the whole poem, but I can't think where.
Isn't it in the Benedictine tree?
I don't know if it's there, actually. That title is used. You think the poem is there? I don't think so, no. I don't think... Yeah, I think just the title they used, Sagramars used. I don't think the poem is there. Because he's like seeing Gurudev as that, right? Gurudev's the wish-fulfilling tree, you know, spreading divine goodness in all directions.
Because that book is a lot of like pastimes of Gurudev, right? Or at least the beginning, it's like
it was
recapitulating.
Yeah, it's mainly like a kind of a documentation of the First World Tour, something like that.
And also the difference with Swami Maharaj is also
well, there's some talks there that were given during the tour.
That first tour was a lot of that, like conversations about Swami Prabhupada.
Sure, I mean, Gurudev, especially in his early world tours, he gave so much importance to Srila Swami because it was like because of his previous work, he was able to come. He started the whole movement. So
connecting with so many devotees that were like lost.
Yes, exactly.
And they didn't know the history.
Yeah, exactly. The reality.
Right, the relationship.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. That's another point. Yeah. So Mahaprabhu liberated these 7 palm trees. Shanyastau deki loker hoilo chamatkar, loke kohe sannyasi Ramavatar. After the 7 palm trees had departed for Vaikuntha, everyone was astonished to see that they were gone. The people then began to say, this sannyasi called it just says this sannyasi. This sannyasi called Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must be an avatar of Lord Ramachandra. Sasharire talgelo Shivaikuntha dam, Aiche Shakti karohoy vinayekanam. Only Lord Ramachandra has the power to send 7 palm trees to the spiritual Vaikuntha planets. Prabhu asi koilo pampa sarovade snan, panchavati asita korilo vishram. Eventually, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at a lake known as Pampa, where he took his bath. He then went to a place called Panchavati, where he rested. Nasike Triyambak deki gela brahmagiri, Kushavarte aila jaha janmila godavari. Mahaprabhu then visited Nasika, where he saw the deity of Triyambaka, Lord Shiva. He then went to Brahmagiri and then to Kushavarta, the source of the river Godavari. Sapta Godavari aila kori tirtha bahutar, punarapi aila Prabhu Vidyanagar. After visiting many other holy places, the Lord went to Sapta Godavari. At last he returns to Vidyanagar. And so Vidyanagar is where, that area where he'd met with Ramananda Rai and the Godavari River. Ramananda Rai Shuni Prabhu Ragaman, Anande Asiya Koilo Prabhu Saha Milan. When Ramananda Rai heard of Mahaprabhu's arrival, he was very pleased and immediately went to see him. Nandavatoya pode charane dodiya alingan goilo prabhu tade utaya. When Ramananda Rai fell flat, touching the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord immediately raised him to his feet and embraced him. Duijane prema veshe koden grandan premanande shitte hoilo duhakarman. In great ecstatic love they both began to cry, and thus their minds were slackened. Kotokane duijana sustir hoya nana ishta goshti kore kacha bosiya. After some time, they regained their senses and sat together to discuss various subjects. Tirtha kata prabhu sakal kohila karnamrita brahma samhita dui ponti dila. Mahaprabhu gave Ramananda Rai a vivid description of his travels to the holy places and told him how he had acquired the 2 books named Krishna Karnamrita and Brahma Samhita. The Lord delivered the books to Ramananda Rai. Prabhu kohe tumi je siddhanta kohile, e dui punti se sab sakshi dile. The Lord said, whatever you've told me about devotion is all supported by these 2 books. Or he says siddhanta actually. No, whatever siddhanta you told me, no, that's all established here. It's all here in these 2 books. Raya Ananda hoilo pushtaka paya Prabhu saha swadilo rakilo likiya. Ramananda Rai was very happy to receive these books. He tasted their contents along with the Lord and made a copy of each. Gosai ailagrame hoilo kolo hol Prabhu ke dekitelo kailo sakal. News spread in the village of Vidyanagar about the arrival of Mahaprabhu, and everyone came to see him once again. Lokteki Ramananda gelani jagore Madhyane utila Prabhu bhiksha kori bade. After seeing the people who gathered there, Ramananda Rai returned to his own home. At noon, Mahaprabhu got up to take his lunch. Rachi kale rai puna koilo agaman, dui jane Krishna katai koilo jagadan. Ramananda Rai returned at night, and he and the Lord discussed topics concerning Krishna. Thus they passed the night. Dui jane Krishna kata kohe rachi dine, paramanande gelo panchasata dine. Ramananda Rai and Mahaprabhu discussed Krishna day and night, and thus they passed from 5 to 7 days in great happiness. Okay, well, I think it's a good place to stop. And we can finish the chapter tomorrow. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami ki Jai. How much do you sing? Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Namaha. Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana. Giridhari Gopinata Madana Mohan. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra. Jiva Gopala Bhaja Dasa Raghunath. Ch.Ch Gosai Kodi Charana Vandan. Jaha Hoite Vignana Shambhishta Puran. Ch.Ch Gosai Jar Muitana Das. Tansavada Pada Denu Mora Panchagras. Tajera Charana Sebi Bhakta Sanivas. Janame Janame Moe Abhilash. Ch.Ch Gosai Jabe Braje Kulubas. Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Korina Prakash. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Kodiyas. Shri Nam Sankirtana Kohe Narottama Das. Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva. Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Jai. 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 Jai.
Jai, all the Madhuski.
Jai.
Jai, Shri Vishakha Devi ki jai, Jai, Gaur Premanande.
Hari Bo.